Welcome back, dear friends, to our 10th episode of Clemson Academy Junior!
That's right, dear friends. We are on our 10th episode. But before we get into our program for today, let's start off with a prayer.
Oh God, guide me, protect me, illumine the lamp of my heart, and make me a shining lamp and a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and powerful Abdu'l-Baha.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Excellent, dear friends. Thank you for joining us again. Here we are. So, before we start off with our main topic, let's get into our virtue of the week. And our virtue of the week this week is reverence. So, Ella, do you know what reverence means?
It means like
Let me help you. Reverence means showing or displaying deep respect for something. Okay?
Okay.
Very good. This is nice trying. You were thinking really hard. She's paying attention. So it's showing or displaying deep respect and love almost to something. It's that aspect of reverence coming from the heart for something. So when it says in the writings, talking about how our attitude towards prayer, our attitude, we should be reverent. So it's how we're sitting, how we are in a state of reverence, how our mind is it in a state of reverence. So these are things that we should work on day by day so that we are ever, ever closer to our Lord. And so, on this topic of reverence, let's pull some quotes, right? So, the first quote that I've pulled is from His Holiness Abdu'l-Baha. And we can this is from selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Baha, right? And His Holiness Abdu'l-Baha states, "The state of prayer is the best of conditions." The state of prayer is the best of conditions. "For man is then associating with God." So do you remember, Ella, I was talking about what prayer is? It's where you are communicating with your Lord, right? And how should we communicate with Him, you know? How do we talk to our Lord? It's through prayer. And we should be in a state of reverence, a state of reverence, a state of love. That is the highest state of respect we should be in. The highest state of respect is a state of reverence. It's where your entire being is in a state of ardor. Ardor is an impassioned form of love that you have towards your Creator, and this is reverence, okay? And then Abdu'l-Baha carries on. He says, "Prayer verily bestoweth life." Again, prayer bestoweth life, particularly when offered in private and at times such as midnight, when freed from daily cares. Prayer bestoweth life. And this is the life of the Spirit. It gives you life because you're communicating with your Lord. Now, here's another one. Incredible, dear friends. These, I urge you, these are from compilations on prayer. You can also find it in the compilation on obligatory prayer and fasting, as we're also in the month of the fast. This gives us ever more opportunity to study and deepen and increase our sense of spirituality, our connection with our Lord. So, dear friends, continue studying more and more and more on these topics. This is, dear friends, this is from His Holiness Abdu'l-Baha. In Esselmont's great masterpiece, Baha'u'llah in the New Era. And as you know, dear friends, 4 chapters from Baha'u'llah in the New Era were written by Abdu'l-Baha. So this is an extract that is in Baha'u'llah and the New Era. This is Abdu'l-Baha speaking. He says, "In the highest prayer, in the highest prayer, men pray only for the love of God, not because they fear Him or hell, or hope for bounty or heaven. Remember I talked about this, Ella? I talked about, we don't say our prayers because we're scared of God, and we don't say prayers because we're going to get something good out of it from God. We say our prayers because we love Him. We love Him. Yes? We love God so much that the heart is pouring out for Him. And how do we say our prayers? In a state of reverence. Okay? So, when a man falls in love with a human being, it is impossible for him to keep from mentioning the name of his beloved. Right? So if you fall in love with someone, like for example, mommy and daddy, daddy loves his, mama. And so when he cannot help but mention or give her a call, right? So, or if he's worried or there's some concern, he immediately picks up his phone and gives a call, right? Because his heart loves that one very much, right? It's just like when the heart has that feeling of love, you cannot help but feel it, So this is what Abdul-Baha is saying. He says, when a man falls in love with a human being, it is impossible for him to keep from mentioning the name of his beloved. Then Abdul-Baha goes further. Listen, this is very important. He says, how much more difficult is it to keep from mentioning the name of God when one has come to love Him? How much more difficult is it to keep from mentioning the name of God when one has come to love Him? Dear friends, this is our purpose in life, very simply. To become lovers of Him. Lovers of Him. That is our purpose. To fall ever more in love with Him. Okay? This constant journey to fall in love with our Lord. Okay? Excellent. Very good. The spiritual man finds no delight in anything save in commemoration of God. And lastly, I have also one more quote from Abdul-Baha. Okay? You're doing such a good job. So this is one more quote on reverence. Now, in the Hidden Words, His Holiness Baha'u'llah says, "Thy heart is my home. Thy heart is my home. Sanctify it for my descent. Thy spirit is my place of revelation. Cleanse it for my manifestation." So it says, thy heart, your heart. Not literally the little palpitation here. It's talking about your souls. Your souls are the place of what Baha'u'llah is asking for. He's saying, thy heart is my home. Okay? Now, this is very interesting, dear friends. I'm sharing this quote from Abdul-Baha. He says, holy places are undoubtedly centers of the outpouring of divine grace. Because on entering the illumined sites associated with martyrs and holy souls, and by observing reverence, both physical and spiritual, one's heart is moved with great tenderness. So here Abdul-Baha is saying these wonderful holy places that are associated with martyrs and great heroes and saints, these places move your hearts physically and spiritually. Dear friends, everywhere that we walk, everywhere that we are, should be our actions, our places of reverence. Reverence should be in everything that we do, right? Excellent. So this is something that I want you to, we should be that holy place that it's talking about. Imagine that, dear friends. We become those holy places in that sense, because we become such a holy being that our whole lives are in a state of reverence. That would be amazing too, right, Ella? Okay, so, dear friends, this is the virtue of the week that we all need to be practicing. Reverence. So we've talked about perseverance before, we've talked about courage, we've talked about love and service and kindness. So these are some of the virtues that we've talked about, and we hope each one of you, dear friends, are gradually, as Abdul Baha says, ruse be ruse, day by day, working gradually on each one of these virtues, as reverence is one of them. Our attitude, our mannerisms, our speech, how we're even in a state of sitting, are we being reverent? Right, Ella? I love it. You're paying so good attention, okay? So that's it. That is what we're going to talk about today on our Virtue of the Week. Now, very good. Now, our topic for today is something that excites me greatly. Today is March 8th, 2020, right? And today is International Women's Day. Okay? Did you know that, Ella? You knew that? I love it. International Women's Day. So we're going to have a special episode on the subject of the role of women and equality of women and men. Okay? So this is our topic for today. Okay, Ella? So I'm going to talk some. If you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, any ideas, or any examples, feel free to share, okay? I love it when you do. So, I'm going to, this is some notes I have. I have tons of notes on different subjects on this topic. So, these are some of my notes that I've compiled, and I will be reading from the extracts, okay? Over a century ago, dear friends, and for the first time in the history of revealed faith, His Holiness Baha'u'llah, the Prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, proclaimed the equality of women and men. Dear friends, this is so profound. For the first time, the founder of the Baha'i faith proclaimed the principle of equality of women and men. This is interesting. Listen to this, dear friends. He did not leave this pronouncement as an ideal or pious hope, but wove it as a basic factor into the fabric of his social order. Now, this is very interesting. He supported it. Who's he? His Holiness Baha'u'llah. He supported it by laws requiring this same standard of education for women and men, and equality for all rights in the society. Okay? This is amazing. I love it. Now, equality of the sexes is a spiritual and a moral standard, essential for the unification of the whole planet. Okay? And the unfoldment of the world order. So, dear friends, equality of women and men is essential for the unification of the planet. Now, without the qualities, talents, and skills of both women and men, full economic and social development of the planet becomes impossible. So, dear friends, now listen to this. This is a quote from His Holiness Abdul Baha. And where can we find this quote? It's in Promulgation of Universal Peace, page 375. Now, this is Abdul Baha speaking. Abdul Baha states, "The world of humanity is possessed of two wings." Right, Ella? Imagine the whole world, and men is one wing and woman is another wing of a bird, right? Can a bird fly if it only has one wing?
No.
No, it can't fly. It needs How many wings?
2.
2 wings, right, Ella? So let's read this quote. It says, the world of humanity is possessed of 2 wings. The male and the female. Right, Ella? The male and the female. So long as these 2 wings are not equivalent in strength, the bird will not fly. Okay? Until womankind reaches the same degree as man, until she enjoys the same arena of activity, extraordinary attainment for humanity will not be realized. Humanity cannot wing its way to heights of real attainment. This is from Abdu'l-Baha. So imagine this, Ella. Imagine if one wing is really strong and the other is really weak. Can the bird fly? No. But okay, this is the wing of man, really strong. And the wing of woman is lack of education, and man has been, putting down women for a long time. So the wing of woman is weak. Can the humanity progress?
No.
No. The wings have to be equal, right? That's what Abdu'l-Baha is saying, equivalent, right? In the present transition of humanity from adolescence to maturity, signs of this evolving equality can be observed everywhere. He says, as long as women are prevented from attaining their highest possibilities, so long will men be unable to achieve the greatness which might be theirs. Which is so amazing, dear friends. Men will not benefit as long as women are put down. So it's, in the sense, it's, as they say, it's mutually beneficial, So it's not only beneficial for the whole world, but it's also beneficial to men to promote the harmony of equality of women and men. This is an incredible principle, dear friends. He says, this is from, I carry on, it says, the character of this unique age we are entering is further brought into focus in the following statement from the Baha'i writings. Now let's listen to this, dear friends. This is also from His Holiness Abdu'l-Baha. And we find this in the Star of the West, Volume 7, Number 3, page 4. It's also, dear friends, in Baha'u'llah New Era, page 149. Okay? Everyone listening? Great. You doing good? Thumbs up? I love it. Here we go. The world in the past has been ruled by force. Ella, you told me about this, right? The world in the past has been ruled by force, and man has dominated over women by reason of his more forceful and aggressive qualities, both of body and mind. But here we go. This is Abdu'l-Baha speaking. This is awesome. He says, but the scales are already shifting. Force is losing its weight, and mental alertness, intuition, and the spiritual qualities of love and service in which woman is strong are gaining ascendancy. So let's go over those again. So what are the qualities that women are strong in? It says here, mental alertness, intuition, and the spiritual qualities of love and service in which woman is strong is gaining ascendancy. And it's ascendancy over the forceful and aggressive qualities of body and mind which man has been known for. Now, Abdu'l-Baha continues. It's very good. He says, hence, meaning now, he says, hence the new age will be an age less masculine and more permeated with feminine ideals, or to speak more exactly, will be an age in which the masculine and the feminine elements of civilization will be more properly balanced. Isn't this beautiful? So, The word here, I love, is permeated. Permeated is almost a sense of a saturated. So the whole civilization will have these aspects of these feminine ideals, of qualities of love and service. Isn't this amazing? I love it, Ella. You're doing such a good job. So, now, you have any questions, thoughts, examples? Not right now, okay? We're carrying on. The Baha'i World Community, for more than 100 years, has accepted this truth, the principle of equality of women and men, for more than 100 years, and has understood the importance of implementing this standard in individual, family, and community life. Right, Ella? Now, this is very important. The institution of marriage, the basis of the family in the Baha'i community, is part of this whole process. Now, before a Baha'i marriage can take place, the couple who have freely chosen who to be with and freely chosen to be with each other must obtain the consent of all the parents, right? So they have to go get permission from their parents. Say, Ella, not right now, obviously, but when you're ready to get married, you have to come to your parents and say, Daddy, I have met this person, and I would like to marry this person. Do I have your permission? This is consent of your parents. You have, as Baha'is, we get permission from our parents from who to marry. You understand? Okay, so this is the couple. This is interesting. The couple then weds in an atmosphere of loving parental approval. So this is an incredible principle of this parental consent. It brings unity between the families together. And so this is an aspect of one of the levels of unity, the family unity, and then it works together in the sense of whole community coming together. The couple then weds in an atmosphere of loving parental approval and acceptance in the community. Now, with the exchange of vows in which each partner repeats, "We will all verily abide by the will of God," the newly wedded Baha'i couple begin their lives together on a basis of spiritual unity and equality. This unity and equality, rooted in the rights and responsibilities of every person before God, unfolds in the family. Here, values and attitudes essential for the development of the individual, the community, the nation, and humanity must be taught from the early life. In the Baha'i view, the family, being a human unit, must be educated according to the rules of sanctity. Dear friends, this is His Holiness Abdul Baha talking. Okay? Abdul Baha talking. And we can find this where? It's from Promulgation of Universal Peace, page 168. Abdul Baha speaking. He says, according to the teachings of Baha'u'llah, the family, being a human unit, must be educated according to the rules of sanctity. What does sanctity mean, you know? Sanctity is purity, spiritual purity, cleanliness. Okay? All the virtues must be taught in the family. All the virtues must be taught in the family. The integrity of the family bond must be constantly considered, and the rights of the individual members must not be transgressed. All these rights and prerogatives must be conserved, yet the unity of the family must be sustained. It's very important, dear friends. Again, from Abdul Baha speaking. What does he say? The injury of one shall be considered the injury of all. The comfort of each, the comfort of all. The honor of one, the honor of all. And we see this very clearly, dear friends, in this day in society. You know, with this virus going around the world, we see the injury of one is the injury of all. I mean, it's how we see how it's affecting our planet, right, Ella? We see the suffering of humanity, and we see that this world is not such a big world anymore, right? It's just this small little village. What is happening in one place is very quickly affecting all of us. And we can feel, you know, in our homes that this is not so big anymore. This is the suffering of one is the suffering of all. The injury of one is the injury of all. We should feel it, dear friends. We should feel that feeling of if someone is hurt on one side, anywhere in this world, as we're all brothers and sisters here. Right, my dear Ella? I love it. You're paying such a good attention. You have any thoughts or questions on this? Not yet. I know you have some good thoughts coming up. Okay, so this is now a very important section, and this is on education. Okay? So, although both parents share in the overall responsibility of educating the children, the mother, dear friends, and if you recall, like it was several weeks ago, we had a dialogue with Dr. Bayat, and we had a talk, and he talked about the role of the mother. And so here, this is talking about the mother is given recognition as the first educator of humanity. And she must be carefully prepared for this task. A lot of parents waltz into the aspect of parenting, and they have no idea what they're doing or how they're doing it or what's going on. Dear friends, we should prepare for this task, you know? We should prepare as, you know, even at a younger age, because eventually even, you know, the younger ones should prepare to become parents in the sense of responsibility. What does it take to be a parent? This is something that, you know, how I would love in the, you know, in the world to come, you know, in the sense of, you know, if there's a new education of materials of how to prepare our children on the role of parenting. So this is something I would love in the schools even, how to teach them the moral aspects of parenting. Now, the role of the mother goes on. It says, her education, in fact, this is from Abdul Baha. It says, her education, in fact, from the Baha'i point of view, is more necessary and important than that of man. For a woman, this is from Abdul Baha, Promulgation of Universal Peace, page 133. Abdul Baha speaking. He says, for women is the trainer of the child from its infancy, right? Mama helped train you from when you were a little baby, right? She taught you all your prayers, right? And Daddy helped, you know, along too, but Mama is the primary educator, right? Number one, right? Love it. Now, this is very important. It says, if she be defective and imperfect herself, the child will necessarily be deficient. Therefore, imperfection of women implies a condition of imperfection in all mankind. For it is the mother who rears, nurtures, and guides the growth of the child. So here it's not talking about physically deficient. It's talking about in the sense of spiritually nurturing the development of the child. So it says, if the mother is deficient, meaning not teaching the morals, the character in the child, and if the child then, what happens? Therefore, the child will necessarily be deficient, in the sense not have those qualities. And we can see this so much in society, in the sense of there's many unfortunate cases of individuals that are lacking in the sense of morals. Right, Ella? This is very interesting in the sense of the role that women play. And we've been talking about the role in the family, the role in as mothers. And we've talked about, here we go, we can carry on. It says, since Baha'is do not separate life into, our, per se, our religious life or our social life, there's no separation. As Baha'i, that's it. There's no separation into compartments. We don't do that. We don't separate, right? Faith must be expressed in action. This is fundamentally, if someone asks, what is a Baha'i? What is a lover of this light? Whether you call yourself Baha'i or Christian or Muslim or Jew or Hindu, what is that? It is someone that is a lover of the light that has been expressed by that teacher. And it is someone that is attracted to that and it needs to express that in action. Okay? Than just keeping this great gem in a box and saying, I'm a Jew and no one else knows about it. Or I'm a Hindu and this is for me. How can you, if you love this light, you express it. It comes out, it pours out. It is you, right? It's not only you on Sunday or you on Friday. It is you, every breath is you. You understand? You understand? So it's not, only when you go to church, you're a good person. It pours out of you, okay? This is from Abdul Baha. And Abdul Baha was the son of the founder of the Baha'i faith. And Abdul Baha states, he says it here, he says, for this reason, the education of each child is compulsory. Compulsory means it has to happen. Compulsory, it's mandatory. If there is not money enough in a family to educate both the girl and the boy, the money must be dedicated to the girl's education. This is profoundly amazing. Now, this is revealed in a time, when men were of much higher, per se, societal appearances of being higher and more important than women in Muslim countries in that sense. And so women had of little rank in that sense. And Abdul Baha speaking, this is what he says. He says, if there is not enough money in a family to educate both the girl and the boy, the money needs to go to the girl's education. Now Abdul Baha explains why. For she is the potential mother. If there are no parents, the community must educate the child. In addition to this widespread education, each child must be taught a profession, an art, or a trade so that every member of the community will be enabled to earn his own livelihood. You have any thoughts on this, Ella? Remember I talked to you about that if there, we could not, if they only have enough money to educate, one of the children, one of them is a boy and one of them is a girl, we educate the girl as Baha'is because the girl will be the mother of the future, family. This is an incredible principle. So, carrying on, this is, I love it, and we're talking about this as today is the International Day of Women, and we laud women and praise every one of them in their actions to promote these principles of equality of women and men. And standing up for women is what every man should do. So this is an incredible quote here. It says, a great responsibility is, however, placed on women. So this is now talking directly at every woman. It says, a great responsibility is, however, placed on women to develop her potentialities further. This is what it says. He says, she must make every effort to attain greater perfection, to be man's equal in every respect, to make progress in all in which she has been backward, so that man will be compelled to acknowledge her equally of capacity and attainment. So women need not only the opportunities, but they also need to arise, right? They need to arise, and God knows we see it every day. How many wonderful women. And Ella, you were talking to me about, in the car, about this wonderful young lady. Can you talk to her, me about it? Okay, go for it.
Mulala.
Yes, go for it. So tell me what you were telling me.
So Mulala, she loved to go to school, and then one day some men stopped girls from going to school, and girls couldn't go to school, but Mulala loved going to school, so she went to school, but she got shooted by a gun because she went to school.
That's right. So here Ella is talking about Malala and what happened, and at a young age she displayed incredible acts of courage and defiance to a regime that is still to this day persecuting and putting down women. And her bravery, her courage in opposition to that, and standing up for the rights of women is so lauded and so praised to do this, and even in the aspects of, she was shot, in the face. And even after that, her courage and to continue and promote this principle of equality of women and men, that women should never be put down, that women deserve education, that women should have access to all the things and rights that man has. This is what Malala is fighting for, and we applaud her in her efforts. Right, Ella? So, certainly, the well-being of mankind depends on the development of the potential virtues and abilities of every individual, regardless of race, nationality, class, religion, or sex. So, there was one quote actually that I read from, and it was earlier. Let me see it. Yes. And it was from Promulgation of Universal Peace, page 133. And I urge each one of you, dear friends, as we're in this great month of the Baha'i Fast, and we're talking on this great subject of equality of women and men, I urge you to go read this beautiful talk of Abdul Baha, Promulgation of Universal Peace, page 133. It's where Abdul Baha is talking at a women's suffrage meeting at the Metropolitan Temple. Okay? And it was he talked there May 20th, 1912. Great talk, obviously, Abdul Baha. But urge each one of you to go read it. It's and on this subject of equality of women and men. So, dear friends, we're almost at the close of our my talk here on this subject. So, I will leave you with one last thought. So, the purpose, dear friends, in brief, is this: that if women be fully educated and granted her rights, she will attain the capacity for wonderful accomplishments, and prove herself the equal of man. Who is your teacher, Ella?
Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson. Isn't she amazing? And she is helping teach you, right? And she went and got an education, right? And through her education, she is also teaching others, right? So this is an incredible thing that Miss Johnson is doing. So she went and got an education and brought out all the wonderful abilities within her, and now she is doing that to you and bringing out all your wonderful abilities too, right? So it's an incredible thing that Miss Johnson's doing. So the purpose in brief is this, dear friends, that if women be fully educated and granted her rights, she will attain the capacity for wonderful accomplishments and prove herself the equal of man. She is the co-educator of man. He is complement and helpmeet. Both are human, both are endowed with potentialities of intelligence and embody the virtues of humanity. In all human powers and functions, they are partners and co-equals. This is so important for, as Abdul Baha said, for ages, man has been putting down women, even trying to prove with science that woman is inferior to man. But with education, women can prove, and education, she can prove that this is all falsehood. That from all the scriptures it says that women have and always have been, in the sight of God, equals. Right? And that it is also not only for men to step up, but also women to step up to their rightful place. Right? I love it. This is such a great topic, and I urge men as well as women to talk on this subject and talk to their children on this subject. This is how we create a world where women attain to their rightful place and know their rightful place. Okay?